So welcome everybody. Welcome back to Pure Cringe. My name is Maria McQuaid. I'm here with my fabulous co-host Heather Bombard. Hey Heather.
Hello, happy to be here.
How's it going, my friend?
So good. I can't tell you how excited I am to talk about this finale.
Yeah, I think we are both looking forward to it being done and also to put a little cherry on the end of this season. It's also going to be nice, I think, to finally be done talking about Wendy Pepper.
Yes.
She's like a force of negativity that I frankly don't want in my life.
Plus, this is the culmination of all their hard work. Like we've seen these little piecemeal challenges throughout and gotten a taste of what people could do. But now they've had several months and several $1,000s to
Yes.
create their collection vision come to life. So we finally get to see who's got the goods and who doesn't.
Yeah, refresh my memory. Was it $8,000 that they
I
get?
believe it was, yes, $8,000. I can look back through my notes. They had 10 weeks. No, yeah,
Yeah, 10 weeks and $8,000, right?
sorry, 5 months and $8,000.
Yeah, so they had a long time.
Yep.
It's what felt like a long time to us and a decent amount of money. It all comes down to this. And so, of course, we've been stringing everybody along. So
Mm-hmm.
we didn't make it easy. We broke up the finale into two parts. And so, for those of you that have stuck with us since the beginning, we really appreciate it. Hopefully, it'll all reveal itself for you today. Everything will wrap itself up with a nice bow. But we are back and kicking for the last 12 hours before the final runway show. And
Yes.
all three designers are just super busy.
Yes. And stressed out.
I actually feel like even the editing was conveying that to me. Like every time we looked at someone, it was like a frenetic, weird shot, and I was like a little nauseated from it.
Yeah,
Was it the same for
absolutely.
you?
We obviously left off in their workroom,
Yeah,
workspace, which was a small, cramped space where they were all on top of each other and
crazy.
fighting over shoes and other things like that. Everybody's tense. They're stressed out. This is when we kick off now, we're 12 hours until their runway show. So they're still working really, really hard.
Which is wild to me. I would think that you would be like coasting at this point, right? Everything should be done, but it felt very much like every other episode we watched and them frantically sewing, practically sewing it on the model when they're about to walk on the runway. So it had that vibe.
Yes,
And to your point about the shoes, there is a little shoe drama. Jay does check in with Wendy to see what's going on with your shoes. How do you feel about this? I thought this was interesting in the fact that Jay will reach out to Wendy when there's some Carousel drama. And I
absolutely.
think one of the things that we saw previously in the beginning of the episode was the wrap up of all of the best quotes from the season. And I think one of the last things that Jay says is, I really hate Wendy.
Yeah.
But I feel like it doesn't matter how much he hates Wendy, that he will unite with Wendy to be pissed off with Karasan about the special favors that she has received for the shoes.
Absolutely. Yeah. Nobody's been on Wendy's side throughout this, but we do start to get hints that there's cracks in the surface, in the veneer of who we will hear referenced as Miss Perfect, Karasan, a few times in this episode. Um,
Interestingly, yes.
yeah, so I think that there's some resentments that start to come through based on the performance through the time that they were all together.
Yeah, I think that you're right. I think everybody's been holding a little bit and it starts to leak out little by little. And the first little sort of chip in the veneer is the model for Karasan backs out.
Yes, Maggie.
So that was kind of a big deal. Then 2 seconds later, Tim comes in to chat with them about the order
Yes.
first. I was thinking about that. I don't know what I would want. I don't know that I would want to be the middle. I think I would either want to be first or last.
Yeah, and I was thinking about that too, because I was like, oh, luck of the draw, Karasan's going to be first. So people are going to forget her stuff by the time you then get through Wendy and Jay, because they're
Yeah.
all showing 12 pieces
Yep.
as part of their collection. So it's tough to go first because even if you're amazing, will people lose track of that because the next one and then the next one's going to come out? So yeah, Karasan being first and then Wendy. and then Jay is last.
Yeah, yeah. So, I mean, they seem okay with that order. Then Tim takes Carson aside, and this is the beginning of what will be called Shoegate. So, what she does, he asks Carson, how much did the shoes cost out of her budget?
Yes. And she reveals that she reached out to Dollhouse and she designed the shoes, and Dollhouse manufactured them gratis for free.
Yeah, I was pretty impressed that she even had those connections.
Yeah, and this does actually come up a lot for me in this episode that she's been in this industry. She's been doing
Yeah.
fashion design. She's had her own impromptu fashion shows. So she knows what goes into this. She knew going into this that she would need shoes for all of her models that she would prefer be designed to go along with all of her outfits.
Makes
And
sense.
that's her level of professionalism that really shines through here. She's thought absolutely everything through. The problem, however, is that she did reach into her connection bank and pull out these free shoes from actual design house manufacturer. And I don't want to give anything away yet because there's a lot of discussion that happens. But at this 12 hours to the show mark, Jay is saying, "Oh boy, I wish I had a friend." He says this to Tim Gunn.
Yes.
He's, "Boy, I wish I had a friend that could come in and do things for me." And that was kind of the end of the discussion right there. Although the
Yes.
absolute next scene, we get right back into Shoegate. But Tim ends up leaving after hearing from Karasan about what happened, and he leaves with his customary carry on.
Yeah. And then it's magically 10 hours to the runway show.
10 hours, yep, just 2 hours later, and Karasan's phone rings.
Yeah. And who is it but Timmy?
Yes, it is.
He's such a cutie. I love the sound of his like dulcet tones,
Oh, yeah.
even just to tell you that the shoes are a breach of your contract.
And it's funny because I don't know about you all, but if you've watched any live reality competition show, you hear those stories about people that go on American Idol and they can't go get their own record contract because they signed a contract in order to go forward with American
Right.
Idol in the
Yep.
competition. So I don't know why it hadn't dawned on me that these folks would have signed a contract in order to participate, but ding, 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 they
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
And
As
he
the
says,
woman attorney, I'm a little disappointed in you.
when Jeremy is slapping my hands right
Yes.
now, her getting the shoes for free is a breach of the contract, which reads they can have zero items for free, no favors, and nothing that enhances the collection.
And I have to be honest, I don't know how she could think for a second that her custom designed shoes, even if she just bought them from Dollhouse, even if Dollhouse just gave them to her and they were already designed, even that would have been a breach of contract. Forget about the working with them from jump and creating your entire line of shoes. It just shows how quickly we sign things when we want something.
Absolutely.
Excuse me, and we don't read.
Oh, yes.
And also, I think there's a certain there's something to Carison that has been revealing itself through, I don't know if it's through the editing or just through the circumstances in the last few episodes. And I think I've brought it up with you a couple of times. Like, she's got Louis Vuitton luggage, she's got Louis Vuitton bags. She's doing really well. She's living by herself in Los Angeles in her own condo.
Yes.
She has Louis Vuitton luggage, which is thousands of dollars, right? It's not like it's hundreds of dollars, it's thousands of dollars. So she's doing extremely well. She's able to make her own coats with leather and fur trim.
Yeah.
So we can't forget that Carison is, she isn't hungry. If there's a crime that she has committed, her crime is that she's too good. She's too professional and she's not hungry at all. She's great, but she's not hungry. Like even like crazy Wendy,
Oh, yeah.
right? Who Michael Kors will eventually tell us is tenacious.
Yeah.
And to your point, I think this is the inaugural use of the Miss Perfect by Jay.
Yes. Jay says, finally, something happens to Miss Effin Perfect.
Yeah. What's your take on this? How do you?
Well, Jay is a friendly, gets along with everybody type person.
Yeah.
And you're in a competition with these folks. He's always been the bridesmaid, never the bride. Karasan has won quite a few challenges. And so I think he's amused to watch her trip herself up in this
Mm.
particular circumstance. Tim Gunn goes so far as to say that it's illegal for her to have these shoes based on the contract. Not she's not going to get arrested, but she's breaching.
I was just going to say, so you will know this more than I will, but so breach of contract, would that mean that she would potentially be excluded from the show, or what would you think? I don't really know how that might possibly end.
It's hard to tell without being able to see these beautiful contracts that they signed. But yeah, it could be anything from a punishment of some kind, a penalty or a fee,
Oh,
or
financial,
her
right.
being excluded from being able to collect on the contract because she didn't follow the rules.
Imagine how juicy it would be if it was a situation where they didn't mention it until after the show.
Yes, it would
And
be great.
it would be great TV to see someone stripped of a title.
Yeah. And
As
yeah,
mean as it sounds, that would be great TV.
it really would. But so Jay is loving it, and Tim and Karasan continue the conversation where she just starts deflecting.
Yeah, she walks over to Jay, right? And she starts saying to him, like, hey, she leans in and she says, so do you feel, are you okay with me having these shoes?
Yeah, very casual,
Like, is
like
it okay with you
nonchalant.
if I like completely have this huge advantage? You don't mind if I like run away with this, do you, buddy? Thanks. And he's just like, yeah, kinda.
Yeah, absolutely. She asks him, and she gets no joy from Jay, is what I wrote down. And but the
Yeah.
interesting thing is that she starts deflecting up top where she was like, everybody had access
Access
to
to
the
these.
Michael
Yeah.
Kors free shoes. And when she asked Jay, which actually comes after she calls her friend James and
Yes.
says, very rudely, by the way, okay, don't talk, just listen. I need an invoice for all the shoes. You can make them $10 a pair, but I need that invoice paid and the receipt before the runway show the next day. And so then she goes over and asks Jay, and he says, yeah, I'm kind of upset. And she was like, what about all your sweaters that you had knitted or
And crocheted.
crocheted?
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yep.
he very politely informs her that he designed them and he paid for the work that was done on them.
Yeah.
And then he has his hilarious moment where he was like, there's nothing more obviously screaming favor, favor, favor when he's talking. And then our favorite person jumps in and says, hey, Karasan, are
You're
you
gonna
going to
ask
ask
me?
me?
As soon as she did that, I was like, oh, fuck.
Oh, it's going down.
But she calls her out for being a hypocrite. And listen, I resent Wendy for putting me in a position where I agree with her.
Absolutely.
I really resent that. I don't appreciate her doing that.
No, no. She was speaking quite logically, though. You could follow her argument. She was, and again, she says something about, and heaven forbid, Little Miss Perfect. So Karasan obviously has a nickname in this show behind her
And
back,
yeah, I was
which
going to
is
say, they all agreed on it and nobody knew.
she's Little Miss Perfect. But yeah, and Karasan very quickly dismisses her. She doesn't want to hear anything
Yeah.
that Wendy has to say.
Says, I'm done with you.
And what I also found very interesting is how defensive, dismissive she is of everybody because she says, Favors, you're going to blame me for having connections and understanding this business. And if you have all these connections and you understand this business and you can get favors from folks, okay, but read your contract.
Yeah, I'm impressed that she thought that far ahead.
Absolutely. Unlike, let's, for example, Wendy, who showed up and didn't realize that she would need accessories
Shoeless Joe Jackson.
for her folks, like jewelry and other items
Yeah,
she hadn't even considered.
which is crazy balls to me. But yeah, I get it. Like, she did think of every minute detail. However, comma,
Yeah.
I hate to say it, if you had that level of attention to detail, I cannot believe then that you were not, it didn't register to you when you read the contract or that there would be some restriction, we'll say.
Yep.
I think she was trying to pull one over on everybody. I think she knew.
Yeah, I think she
I
probably
think
knew
she
that
was
she
aware.
would be the only person showing up with the
Yeah.
full head to toe design
Yeah.
because she designed those shoes and Dollhouse made them, which there's a great quote later on that I
They weren't even
spoofing
that
the
interesting, but yeah.
but the fact that she's getting called out on it, she seems shocked and surprised and just dismissive of everybody's opinions and criticism of the fact that she's been so harsh about other people's behavior. And she doesn't see that this is not the same thing, but along the same lines of a competitive edge that she's now given herself, that an advantage that other folks didn't have.
Yeah. Honestly, is she? I feel like we're in a situation with Carison now where she has dotted every I and has crossed every T in terms of the design and we'll say the cohesiveness of the show. Because I felt like a lot of the looks looked very similar to me. Like I was like, oh God, another aviator or whatever, not to get ahead of ourselves. But I feel like she had to know that this was a situation that she was putting herself into where she would have some type of edge, where her stuff would look better. But the weird part to me is that she didn't try to be more surreptitious about it, right? There's just like boxes and boxes of shoes. Like I would have maybe gone with them and gotten like one pair or two pairs of Michael Kors shoes just for shits and giggles.
Yeah.
But I feel like she is so used to winning and is so used to, and I don't want to say not receiving because I'm trying to cast my mind back. She's received feedback, constructive criticism along the way, not a ton, not a ton, but she has received some. She typically doesn't react well to it in the sense where she's not open to different methods of design. Like she
Yeah.
has her own thing and she wants it to be that thing.
Yes.
And so I think that it's because normally people probably just fucking love her work.
Yeah.
I think that because her work is good, she hasn't had to deal. She also doesn't have the skin, the thick skin that Jay does. And so Jay can handle it. Like when someone is, I don't know if that look is going to work, you should try that. He's like, all right, cool. And he just goes with it. I think with Kara she drinks her own Kool-Aid.
Yeah. She's not as open
Yeah, like,
to other ideas or
no, no.
anything that really contradicts what she has set in her mind for what she's going to do. But I
Yeah, that's
did
true.
love Wendy saying, "You're equating a pair of designer shoes to $5 sample sales shoes," because that's when they come in before we ended the last episodes, they when they started working in the workroom, Jay got a pair of $9 shoes from a sample store or something along those lines. And Wendy was just going to use the free shoes. And James from Dollhouse had come in and helped Karasan fix all her shoes by applying the rubber cement on the inside and all of those things. So it was just it's such poor timing because they're all literally scrounging the bottom of the barrel. And here's Karasan with her friend doing her work for her.
Flaunting it a little bit,
Oh, yes.
right? I don't know if maybe I'm reading too far into it. Maybe I'm reading too far into it. But anyway, I loved Shoegate. I think Shoegate was really interesting because I think it really now we see who Karasan is.
Mm-hmm.
I think now the veil has been lifted, and so we're seeing exactly who she is as a person. So we fast forward to the next morning, it's 5 a.m.
5 a.m.
They're all getting ready and packing up. And this is where we get like those little sort of montages with them where Kara sounds like, this is what have we been waiting for?
Yes.
This is what we've worked hard for. And Wendy's like wearing a shirt that says the long shot. And she
Yes.
tells her, says that it has like a fighting implication for her, something she rallies around.
Yep.
And then, of course, Jay, he's just like, if I win, that'd be great.
So adorable.
Well, I think that his reactions to everything are the most pure.
Yeah.
They really are. They're the most pure and unadulterated, he's doing it for all the right reasons.
Yeah, he's shocked that he's there just as much as other
Right.
folks should be. And he's just excited to express himself through his designs. And he's getting nervous, all of those things, things that you would expect
Yeah.
from a genuinely genuine person.
Yeah. Listen, the only thing that I'm missing right now is Austin. That's the only thing that could make this better is Austin. When Wendy is saying the things that she's been saying forever, that she has a lot to prove. Jay burps in the taxi. Like it's so funny when he did that. It so reminded me of my friends Julie, RIP, who used to do that all the time. She would like burp when we were in the car together and then turn her head and blow it in my face.
Oh, fun.
She's a very interesting person. Yeah, so that long burp by Jay was very typical, I think, of him. And I think that's also the way that he views this whole experience, right? He doesn't take himself too seriously. And it doesn't ever feel like it's a flippant thing. Like, I don't feel like it's irreverent, but not in a way that feels negative or damaging the way that Vanessa was like, I don't want to be here.
Oh,
This
yeah.
sucks, that kind of thing. I don't get that. So they arrive in the tents and it's suddenly 3 hours to the runway show.
Yeah.
What did you think of the tents?
I feel like I have seen a runway show on something before, so it was not
Oh,
at
okay.
all. I was actually surprised that there was so much space away from the white runway to where the first row of chairs started. So it was exactly as I expected, but just because I feel like I had seen maybe a Victoria's Secret runway show or something like that on television before. So it was stark white, everything, white chairs, white carpet, or I should say white runway, white tent, and then just the big screen in the back that folks come out of that behind the scenes. Yeah, what did you think?
It's funny. I noticed that it seemed open, like the space seemed open.
Hmm.
Because they always feel claustrophobic when I ever see footage from it. Like
Yeah,
where I feel like the people who are in the front row, if they cross their legs the wrong way, they could kick the model.
yeah,
It feels like that to me. I'm not sure if that's real,
it
but
is.
what I realized was that probably so that the cameras can get up and down the aisles there.
Yes.
I didn't realize, so that's the first time I've ever seen one. That was my first time ever seeing a tent or anything like that in terms of like Fashion Week or even, I honestly think that Project Runway may have been the conduit for me to know that things like Fashion Week exist,
Oh, yeah.
right? 20 years ago, like I didn't fucking know. I had no clue.
No.
So for me, this might have been my first sort of brush. I may have heard of it. I don't know that I knew about it in New York. I think I knew about it in like London or Paris, probably Paris.
From Milan.
Yeah, so I think maybe that was my experience with
Yeah.
it. So I really didn't know. And I think I also thought that they took place in buildings. So I thought the tent, forgive me, I thought the tent was speaking metaphorically. And then when we
No,
got there, I was like, oh no, it's a big fucking wedding tent.
it is a big tent.
Oh, okay. I didn't realize that it actually was a tenderoni. So when I saw it, I actually had a moment, which was funny because as soon as they shot to Wendy, I felt like she also had the same moment that I did, which was like oh, it's big.
It's big.
It's,
It's just a big tarp on the floor,
yeah,
some fold-up chairs.
yeah. But there's a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
There's a metric fuck ton of them. And so I kept thinking, oh, wow. And then all of a sudden, when Wendy showed up and she started to tear up a little bit, and I thought, I would have done the same thing. I would
Oh,
have
yeah.
walked in there and probably been bawling because it was overwhelming for me to watch it and to think that this was going to be something that these people were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Forget about if I was actually the person doing the show.
I like the way they stagger people coming in because obviously they all got out of the same car and most of their stuff is already in for the show. So it's okay. Wendy's gonna go in first. Gonna- with her terrible hair. And
Oh, can we just moment for that? Excuse me. What in the actual hell, Heather? What? So it's like half back, and then there's 9 greasy bits. What was that?
as somebody who's grown out her hair many a time, and the fronts of my hair always falls out. Like when I saw her in that like half ponytail with the tendrils coming down. I was like, okay, somebody's going to be doing her hair before the show. Maybe she'll sit herself down in one of the model chairs and be like, can somebody give me a blowout real quick, please? So that was really funny. But the joy that I got when she got backstage was unsurmounted because she meets that PA, Johnny Hardesty.
I'm sorry, what's up, like Dollar Tree Rod Stewart? How are you today?
It was just funny because I was like, I don't think that this person is necessarily important to the show. They're like just
I've never
somebody
seen.
like a production assistant or somebody who's helping out with the show.
Nope.
And she's gushing about his presence and, how she wanted to embody him. So, what does she do?
Steal his shirt.
Yes, I literally wrote she's trying to steal his presence and made him switch shirts with her.
Because you know what it is that fundamentally, and I think that's what everybody means when they keep saying to her, you're a mom from Virginia.
Yeah,
She doesn't have a particular perspective. And so she doesn't also have a particular style. Now,
no.
you may not love Jay's style, but it fucking exists.
Yes, absolutely.
You may not love Karasan's style, but it's 100% a real thing that exists. And with Wendy, every time we look at her, whether it's her clothes or herself, I think we all look at her and we have that Scooby-Doo moment where like one ear comes up and we like tilt our head to the side and
Confused
squint
look.
because we're trying to piece together what we see into something that constitutes a cohesive perspective. And I think that we just can't. I just don't think she has it. So when she sees someone who looks cool,
Mm-hmm.
she reminds me of me when I was like, God, probably 13 or 14, the first time I ever saw like 21 Jump Street. And I remember seeing Johnny Depp and seeing his clothes and being like, I just want everything he's wearing. I want that. I want to be that cool. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
And so when you're a kid, that's when you don't know who you are. She's a woman in her 40s. How does she not know who the hell she is?
it's a good question, especially since she's literally going to have a runway show where she is showing
In like 2.5
her
hours.
vision and designs out to everyone. But in that moment, she steals this poor guy's shirt. And
It's a goofy moment, I think.
yeah, and I was actually very surprised because they show them switching shirts really quickly. So she just took off her t-shirt right
Yeah,
there in front of the cameras and he took off his shirt
yeah.
and they put them on and I was like, oh, okay. Just gonna take your top off on camera. That's cool.
And I was also surprised that he would give up his shirt, which was actually very cool. I liked it. I liked his shirt.
Yeah.
He should not have done that. He definitely should not. That was not an even Steven exchange.
No,
That was how you lose money. That's how you lose money in cool points. Then 2 seconds later, we think Shoegate is over.
no, it is not over.
It is not over. I hate to say it. This is where Tim is with Karasan again, and he wants receipts.
And she provides him a receipt for all the shoes at $15 per pair. And do you remember what he said?
Yes, I do. He called it a magical
Magical
receipt.
receipt. And also he says $15 wouldn't even cover the import tax on
Yes,
those shoes,
yes, yes.
which I loved because he's like, nah, no way.
And that's, I think, what I respect so much about Tim Gunn, just in general,
Hmm.
is that, and I think a big part of it in the context for me is still The Natty Professor. I really felt like that book really revealed to me his philosophy behind the way that he mentors, behind the way that he guides these people. And I love the fact that for him, the idea of holding someone accountable is just a no-brainer. Like he doesn't even look at it as anything special, right?
Yeah.
It's the way that things should be, and so that's the way that things are. So I love the fact that he has that conversation with her. In between that, we have that quick bloop of model drama for Jay, where he
Yes.
can't find 6 of his models or 7 of his models,
Yeah.
and Wendy is missing, yeah,
Just
just
one.
one, but it's her big one, Martinique.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So it's like Wendy's, I'm down. Martinique's not here. And I think it was Tim Gunn that informs her that Jay's missing 7 girls.
yeah.
And that always happens to
And
Jay.
there's only 12 looks.
Yeah. It's just funny because you're like,
Jay
okay.
has the worst luck. between Julia being missing that time and then, of course, Morganza. I mean, he
Mm-hmm.
did pick Morgan a couple of times, knowing that she was a pain in the ass, but
Yeah.
he has had horrible luck with models. This is also the scene where we get to see Karasan and Jay greet their families.
Yeah. I thought that was very sweet.
Super cute. We get to finally see Karasan's family.
Yeah.
This is again where Tim grabs Karasan and says that the producers won't accept $15 for the shoes.
Nope.
And it makes sense. I don't know how she could have thought $15. I wonder if what she did was see how much she had left in the budget and then just calculated 15.
Maybe. I'm not sure, honestly. And I feel bad for Dollhouse Shoes, honestly, because I feel like they're inadvertently getting dragged when they produce some lovely shoes. But he does tell her that she has three options. One is her models go shoeless. Two is she can scrounge around and find shoes from the free shoes available. Or three, that the models can wear her shoes, but they cannot be factored into the judging of her looks. And
I hate to say, and he says to her, I would do number three. But what I don't understand is number three doesn't seem like a huge punishment to me.
no, not really. To be honest, I didn't think so either, but I was shocked that they let her do that.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That feels like hardly any punishment.
But at the same time, her attitude, again, so entitled.
Yeah.
And she says, so I'm being penalized for having good taste.
Ugh, it's not about your taste.
And Tim Gunn immediately says, no, you broke the contract by calling in this favor. And then she says that she knows from experience, and I don't, oh no, I wrote that she knows from experience what it takes to do a fashion show, and she should have known that.
Yeah.
But so she chose option number three. They get to wear the shoes, which, as you all behind the radio will soon find out, it's a little bitter in the ass a little bit. Not gonna lie, but we'll find out. But yeah, so she chose option number three, which feels very much like a very gentle slap on the wrist.
Yeah, I was really bummed because it to me it built up that like they were going to take points off.
Yeah.
I was waiting because I was expecting that. I would have been like, yeah, 100%. The shoes can go with the outfits. We are going to take 5 points off your total score
Which,
or whatever or something like that. I would have understood. I didn't get the punitive piece of this. It just didn't seem that way to me. And it was interesting because especially because all of these little sound bites that we get from Tim are like pretty damning.
oh yeah,
He's saying to the producers, $15 a pair is the same as zero.
right.
So that's the punishment? And then he said, and then I thought about it, that would be about $20, $28 per pair today. That like you would be saying that a really nice pair of shoes costs $28 a pair.
No.
So that's why I'm saying like I think it's weird. That was such a, to your point, slap on the wrist when it was obviously a big deal from these blurbs that we get from Tim. And
Yeah.
and because he keeps showing up, if it was not that big of a deal, he would said it once would have been that would have been all we heard.
Yeah, I'm honestly shocked.
Right.
Like, part of me wonders if the competitors needed to turn in all of their receipts and accounting of how they spent their money on in that day before,
Mm,
only because this really doesn't come up until the 11th hour before
exactly.
the show while they're still in their workshop. So it feels very last minute rushed, but you can tell that it's an important thing from the fact that he walks away with the receipt and then comes back shortly afterwards with this isn't acceptable. It feels to me like everybody's just finding out about it and trying to figure out what to do.
Exactly.
And yeah, she got a really good deal out of it because she got to still show those shoes on the runway, which I'm sure Dollhouse was happy about having furnished these shoes for $0.
Yeah, I just feel like it just sucked as a punishment. But yeah, I guess there were probably a buttload of factors that go into it. But yeah, I just thought there would have been more.
The fact the producers are the ones making this decision, they still want a really good show
Of
to
course.
come off, not only their
True
real
that.
time, but on television as well.
Good point.
And how good of a show would it have been if there's
Who's Miss J, Wendy?
some Payless Shoe Source shoes going down the runway with Carasan's
Hey,
models?
listen, to be fair, I thought that some of the shoes that she made did look like cheap fuckers, but that's just me. So then we get a mini makeup montage, mini, and
Yes,
then Jay is running around looking for models and he finds the broken headphones. I felt so bad.
two
I was like,
pairs.
who needs this bullshit right before this?
Poor guy.
And then we have that Chiron that pops up that's 1 hour before one runway, and it's all down to this.
Hmm.
Just that 1 hour before the runway. And then we see the full hair and makeup montage. And the L'Oreal product placement
Dude.
is so prominent. I
Yes.
get that it's the L'Oreal hair and makeup room and the
Yep.
L'Oreal blah, blah, blah. I get that, but damn. And then all of a sudden, Jay's models are done and they're all lined up and he's telling them how to walk and he's like, think German.
Yeah, oh, I love that so much. He's saying, I want you to walk like you would if you were just walking down the street.
Yep.
Really German.
Yeah.
Really German.
And I thought,
And I was
what's
like,
German?
like,
How's that?
and he did some sort of like grunt or something, like as a
It
example.
was a half goose step. It was the whole thing. It was, if this were anything else, we would be like, that's fucking racist. But it was a half goose step situation. And I get it. He wanted Einstein. I like, he really wanted, I would say more precision, more like military precision is
Yeah.
maybe what he wanted. But yeah, I thought it was really funny when he was like, think German.
And he was the only one that was shown giving any pre-runway talk or
Yeah.
direction to his models. We didn't see that with anybody else. Not to say that it didn't take place, but I would think that they would have shown it if it did. And I was like, he's last, and here he is already giving his models a pep talk. So I enjoyed that. But yeah, and then the runway show starts.
Yeah, we have some arrivals, right? We see Heidi Klum, Michael
Yes.
Kors, and all of a sudden I was like, is that fucking Parker Posey?
It is Parker Posey.
And who would know that 20 years later she'd have this mad resurgence right now on the White Lotus?
Yep.
I thought it was so funny to see her because she was, what was the name of it? Was it Party Girl, the movie that she was in when she, it's like a very independent movie, and it was like the clothes were cool, and that's what set her up to be like an indie darling. And but I think that's part of why she's there. And when the show starts, and Heidi took the sort of runway to introduce the show and to introduce the whole thing, I was like squinting again, like tilting my head to the side. I was like, what the fuck is she wearing? Like this whole thing is built up to this. And I wrote, she's looks like she's on her way to TGI Fridays for some Jack Daniels wings. What the fuck?
She may have been styled by Express because most of what she wore a lot of the season were jeans and
Oh,
some sort of tank
please
top.
tell the people jeans in a metallic tank, but like you tell me.
That's what I wrote. Jeans and a metallic top, and I have a little smiley face with a question mark for a mouth. Like I don't know if maybe she had, yeah, a wardrobe deal with somebody where she was a model
Bless
for
these
a
people.
certain brand, and thus she was trying to get that brand out as much as possible. She actually, as we will learn at one point, she changes into something for the actual judging,
She looks
which I thought
better.
was much more appropriate.
Agree.
But yeah, and she had
But she looks
half,
stunning.
not a
Yeah.
half pony, but she had her hair up, so it was like all wispy in the back.
She looked like she was going to pick up her kids from school.
Yeah, I wasn't impressed.
It was a really weird choice. It was like she just looked, I think, vastly underdressed
Yes.
for this. And so before the show begins, I want to ask you, so what Heather and I have done is we have rated each look.
Mhm.
So do you want to go through each one and then we'll each talk about what our ratings were and then give the average or
Sure, because
okay.
I definitely took a lot of notes because
Good.
I am not a fashion person and I wanted to be able to make sure, however many days later, that I would be able to remember what these outfits actually looked like.
Mm.
I have a strong opinion on a lot of them. But yeah, so we can run through them because Karasan goes first. And they introduced Parker. I think I might have just written Parker Posey because I saw her. Oh no, they introduced the judges,
They do, yes.
and Parker Posey is a guest judge.
She is, which I'm so
So
excited about.
that is why she is there. So Kara comes out first, and I actually wrote down what she had on so I could remember how bland and tired it looked. Black turtleneck,
Black high heels,
black
boots.
Fargos, boots, and a belt.
Yep.
Like a dangly.
And the turtleneck was like something from the Gap.
Totally. Yes. So I was like, okay, that's the
Interesting
look.
choice.
Mhm.
Again, like underdressed for your own event.
Yes. And her hair was
The same as
braided
it's been the
half
whole time.
back. Yep. And I was like, okay, so that's that. And then she introduces her fantasy fly girl, a mix between aviation and technology, she says. And then she quotes something from Howard Hughes, I'm guessing, that
Yeah.
was to live passionately is something,
It's
something.
just sit in a room in the dark. Yeah.
Something. And yeah, so then they kick off. Sorry, I just turned the page with her looks. And so they all designed 12 looks, but they only showed 10 on TV in this
Okay.
runway show. So just keep that in mind. We only have 10.
And so, what did you think before we even look at the clothes? What did you think of the music for this one?
I noticed Wendy's music the most. So this, I remember thinking about it. I didn't write anything down about it. Was it like poppy techno?
Yeah, I really liked it. That's what I was asking. This is the only music that I really liked.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, she has like a poppy techno music. And honestly, I was like, oh, did they choose their own music or this
They
is the
had to have,
music that
yeah.
they're adding for the show? But yeah.
All right, cool. So let us begin. So do you want to take us into look one?
Oh, yes. So I called it Red Brown Pilot. It was an aviator cap with goggles, red and fur blouse, brown leather cargos that go into boots, and a pink bow.
Yeah, yeah,
And I wrote for my comment on that one a lot.
yeah,
It was just a lot of look,
yeah.
nothing that I would ever wear out anywhere. Like it was just fancy leather fighter pilot person.
Yes.
And it was definitely on theme to the
Oh,
aviator.
100%. I was surprised that it was the first thing.
Yeah, I don't know. So I gave that look a 5.
Two out of five. Yeah, I liked it a little bit more. I could imagine wearing the pants
Pants were the best.
or the jacket, but not together as a set. I thought as a set, it was over the top.
Yeah.
It was like, excuse me, if this was a couture, and I'd be like, oh, okay, that's fun or whatever. But that was not something that an actual person would be able to wear out or would look at and would say, I'm going to buy that whole outfit. You'd have to buy the separates.
Yeah,
You could never.
absolutely.
And I liked it. The way that I judged all of these is, would I wear that? Right. And the more of it that I would wear, the higher the score is.
Mhm.
And so for this, because I would wear the top and the bottom, I wanted to give it a decent score, but since not together, not super high, so I gave it a 7.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah. I just to give you an idea of how I rated folks, part of it was this is a runway show. People are looking at runway shows to buy for their stores, their department stores, or whatever
Yeah,
else. They're
yeah.
looking at designers to put your clothes into their stores. And I was like, I don't know who would be able to sell this look necessarily
Yeah.
unless it was, and this is where I was like, doesn't she do design for movies?
She's a costume designer.
And this was such a costume to me.
100%. Yeah.
So yeah, so I did give it a 5 because I just was no, no. But then we move on to I wrote it the pink gold dress,
Yeah, yeah.
and it had a fur stole. It was a very long dress, and I'm going to mention the gold belt, which in some cases I don't even think it's a belt. She did a lot of her designs had a waistline to them that was not a corset necessarily,
Like quilted almost like a cummerbund.
a cummerbund, exactly. So a lot of it was built into
Yes.
the actual outfits. And so when I say it had a gold belt, like it had either fabric that looked in the waistline belt area, and it was a long evening like gown. I couldn't describe to you the pattern because they never really got close enough for
they
me to
did not.
tell what a
Right.
lot of the patterns were. It had a very deep back. Most of her things, you'll notice, have no back whatsoever, very deep back, and it had a very deep cut
Or no front.
plunge in the front. I wrote that her model couldn't walk. She got tripped
Mm,
up in the
mm.
almost train of the bottom of the dress, and
Felt bad.
it was very obvious. And so I did, though, because I liked what I think was a pattern on it and the gold belt aspect to it. And I was like, okay, this is a lovely evening dress. If I had a body of a gigantic, skinny, skinny woman skeleton, I gave it an 8.
Yeah, I thought it was a beautiful dress.
Mm.
If I saw that on a mannequin, that would stop me in my
Yes.
tracks. And if I had the body and it was my appropriate for my age, I would wear it 100% as well. Because it got caught in her shoes, I took points away for that because for me, that was a bitch, you had the shoes made. You're telling me that no one ever rehearsed like how long this train was or how easy this was going to be to walk. So the fact that the shoes got caught, I was instantly like, oh, mm. So I also gave this a 7, even
Nice.
though I really did think it was beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And so look 3, I called it more leather aviator.
Yeah.
I will say I loved the jacket.
I'm trying to think. It was a aviator cap with a bow as
Yes,
well and goggles, I think. No, maybe this one didn't have the goggles. Beltish highlights
yeah,
again, a short dress, boots to the knee, the jacket was the same length, and wide shoulders, like very wide,
yes.
almost like the 80s
I was
shoulder.
gonna say, I almost felt nearly like a zoot suit. Like they
Right,
were
exactly.
exaggerated. Yeah. I loved that jacket. That was that whole look for me, because all I really liked was the jacket, was a 6.
Yeah, I gave this one a 7. And I'm not sure why, because I didn't even write down the color of it, which is interesting that I didn't write down the color. But I obviously liked it better than the first one.
Yeah.
So yeah, 7 for me
All right.
there. Which I feel like I really wanted Karasan to do so well because she's my pick going
A
in.
hundred
So
percent.
brown silk dress, which
Yeah.
I thought the brown was an interesting color because brown's not a color that shows up very often in fashion. It again had a bow. There was lots of bows from everybody in this. Belt with a diamond, almost square rectangle as the clasp type thing. Had a texture pattern with a fur stole, a deep back, and a train. And I can picture it in my head because at first I was like, oh, it's like a silk thing. But when you got up close, you saw the texture pattern on it. So I gave this an 8 because I was like, okay, again, if I was a skinny manini and super tall, like I would wear this out to a wedding. And this is where I started thinking, this isn't very commercial. This is very
Right.
fancy.
It's event. These are event clothes.
Event clothes
Yeah.
100%, but I didn't see much wrong with it. I'm starting to get sick of the deep back already. So I was like, oh, sweetheart, who are you designing these clothes for? But I did give it an 8 just because I thought it was a lot simpler, less so much going on like her other looks.
Well,
So
it's funny is I felt the opposite. I felt like this had so much going on, but in a different way. So, like you said, it has the deep back, the train, the ruffles, the stole. Every element was vomited onto this dress. And then when she turned to walk, it just didn't look nice from behind for me. So I didn't like it at all. I thought it was very like, ugh, and I didn't like the color really. And I get what you're saying about brown. I just don't myself like brown.
yeah,
And so for me, because I don't wear brown too, I was I'm not wearing that. So I gave that a 5.
a
I
fiver.
gave it a 5er. Yeah. So far, that's the lowest that I've given her.
Nice.
But I'm going to repeat it. Spoiler alert. In the next look,
Me too.
green, I call it the green leather aviator.
Oh gosh.
I just thought it was just ugly. The best way I could say it is I thought that the color was gross and I thought the design was gross. What
Yeah,
about
it
you?
was all, I wrote green brown pilot with a belt, another cap, more goggles, brown capris. I was like, oh,
Oh,
look, there's some capri pants, boots, a green long back jacket, textured shirt, metallic and shiny. I just was like, bleh.
it was like Adam Ant decided to become an aviator. I just
Yeah.
didn't like it at all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really goes downhill here in the next one for me. That chartreuse satin dress, I think that color is vile. I just think that color is vile. I think that there's probably 2 people in the world that look good in that color, and none of them were on that runway.
No.
And so I actually wrote horrible chartreuse satin dress and gave it a 3.
Oh, I love it. I don't think I'm trying to think if I gave anybody, oh, I did. Gave people lower than 5. This I gave it a 6, ignoring the color because I wrote down lime green dress. I was
Mhm.
like, what's happening here? And I think I liked the fact that it wasn't a gown necessarily. It was about knee length.
Yes.
Again, deep cut front, no back. Ugh, just stop it. But I had the fabric green metallic belt highlights in there. So something about it I liked that I didn't want to go back to the fiver. So I gave her a 6 for effort, maybe the design. I'm not sure.
I was so interested. I knew that you were going to be a much higher scorer than I was. You're so much nicer than me. How
Oh,
about look 7?
the gold green dress is what I called it. It had a
Mhm.
clasp at the neck, which is she shows that a couple times. It was ankle length, another deep cut front. It had silver trim down to a silver highlighted belt, and it had a sheer cover and a train. Now, this I gave a 5, and I wrote down, I thought it was very ill-fitting in the front. I didn't think that it fit the model well or potentially any human being well for that
Yeah.
reason. And I think my respect and anticipation of Saun is what caused me to give her a 5 and really no less than that for a lot of these looks. But yeah, I gave it a 5. I was like, meh.
And I think that my respect for her previous work is what made me so mad and gave her low scores.
Yeah,
Because I
maybe.
was
Yeah.
like, seriously, I wanted to buy every single thing that you've made on Project Runway. We gave you 5 months and 8 grand, and what you came back with were things that I am not interested in. The gold shimmer dress, the model struggled to walk in it.
Yeah.
And again, I feel the same way. It was completely ill-fitting, so I gave that a 4. I neither liked the fabric nor the fit nor the design of the dress. And I'm really, to your point, I'm getting sick of this sort of like open chest and open back.
Yes.
I think it's like what we said about it has a deep back, it has a bustle, it has a train. It's just too much.
Hmm.
Like real women don't dress that way. One or the other will be exposed, not both.
Absolutely.
So
And
it seems far-fetched. The whole thing is very, and like I said, if this were a couture thing, I'd be like, yeah, of course, but this is meant to be ready to wear clothes. This is meant to be actual stuff.
yep. And then we
What
went
wait?
to another pilot.
Mm,
It was white this time. The same belt fabric
yep.
look
That
for
quilting.
accents
Yep.
on the collar and sleeves. It was a jacket and dress that ended at the knee. I think just because it was white this time, I gave it an 8. And I don't know why I rated it so highly either, because I can't quite picture in
The
my
coat
head
was
there
gorgeous,
was
and so were the boots.
maybe that was it, but yeah, I thought it wasn't as terrible as the some of the 3 things that followed before it, and I was like, okay, oh good, phew, we're getting back to things that I can actually be like, okay, that's nice. So I gave it an 8, just because, and this is, I have to say, most of her stuff that came out, like it looked like it was something somebody would be wearing in a movie or on a red
100%.
carpet.
Yes.
There wasn't, as we'll find in some later styles from other folks, like it didn't look like you just finished it up in the car on the way there. Everything was
Exactly.
very
Yes.
meticulously put together. And I really factored that into a lot because it was, I think, for that reason, hard for me to go really low. But yeah, something about this one, even though I'm obviously getting tired of the pilot's outfits, she got an 8 from me. What about you?
She got a 6 for me because basically I just love the coat.
Okay. Yep.
I thought the coat was great. I didn't like anything else about the outfit, but I thought the coat was stunning. And that's sadly, I think that's why I have such a hard time with this particular collection is that I feel like there's so much talent there.
Hmm.
There's so much, there's so much talent there. And
Yeah.
all with all of this time, all of these outfits are all referential to each other to me.
Hmm.
And so I don't get a sense of her perspective at all. It really looks like she's made clothes for the Aviator movie,
Yes.
which she's just made costumes for the Aviator.
We should.
Or is there going to be a biopic of Amelia Earhart? If so, these are the clothes. right?
Amelia Earhart would never wear these clothes.
No, but this is the only female aviatrix I can think of.
Yep.
And then, of course, we get to look 9, which is the white sequined dress with the keyhole in the front. Amelia again with the
Yep.
fur shrug. I'm bored, Heather. I'm bored with this. I gave it a 4. My expectations of her are, it's not even that my expectations for her are high. It's that I know how creative she is. I
Hmm.
feel like she is giving me the same dress in 9 different treatments.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that, so I rated this a 7, and part of me was like, boy, a lot of these kind of remind me of that blue cape dressing that Wendy made for Banana
Yeah,
Republic. But
yes.
yeah, a fur sleeves, accent, a stole, another clasp at the neck, open front. It's above the knee, which was different a little bit. Gloves and no back.
These aren't,
About all I could give her.
this is not even a situation. And then, the last one, which is like the signature closing look, which is the one that has her Project Runway model.
Yes.
And that is the white gown with the fur stole. You know, if every other dress didn't look similar to this, I would have probably given it an 8 or a 9. But because every dress looked the same, I looked at it and I thought, it's executed well.
Hmm.
It fits her okay. And I like the fur thing. So I
Yeah.
gave it a 7.
I gave it a 4. I don't know what it is. I think I was just sick of her
Yeah,
looks
yeah,
at that point. I'm
I
like, you've
get
got
it.
that fur stole thing on the one shoulder, a white and silver belt at the waist, no back, a slit front. She even had the sides cut
There's
out.
and she has everything cut out. I
The
know.
sides are cut out.
Freezing
The
that kid.
white belt thing comes forward and it had a bit of a train. I was just like, this is your final look? Was honestly my response. And I was like, nope, I'm done with this. This was the least well executed of the looks. So I gave it a 4.
Her postal uniform was better than anything
Oh,
that was
the
on
postal
this.
uniform was great. I wish our postal uniform was in this show. But so that's the end of the show. All the models come out, and this is the only place I was able to pinpoint exactly the 2 outfits that we didn't get to see.
Okay.
So there was a brown cowgirl ruffle dress with a fur boob under accident and fur sleeve cap type things it was almost you would expect to see somebody wearing it maybe with some cowboy boots at a country western because it had a ruffled aspect to the bottom of it. And then the person right behind her had the exact same type outfit with different accents on it in gold. So those are the 2 that they didn't show on TV, which I thought was interesting. So I was like, I'm not gonna rate them, but I could only pause really quickly to catch a glimpse at them. They
Mm.
weren't impressive, but they were different. Maybe if those had been mixed in, I would have felt differently about some of the other stuff. There would have been more variety to the show, but
Yeah, if they had taken out one of the keyhole ones and replaced it with one of those, that probably would have gone a long way.
yeah,
Not that I would have loved it. They don't sound cute, but I think it would have been nice to see some variation. It felt like just the same theme done over and over and over and over again.
absolutely.
While you calculate yours, I will tell you what mine is. I actually was surprised if when we talked about this before, I know that we had both really felt like Saun was going to give us amazing work and that she was going to be a shoe-in. And I expected to love every single thing that she made. And the fact that I didn't was pretty heartbreaking. And so my average for all of the looks was really disappointing to me. And I'm nobody. It was 5.4.
Okay, mine would be 6.3. So she got a D minus
Yeah.
from me and she
Yeah.
failed for you.
But that's not that far apart, you and I.
No,
That's the thing that's interesting is that our averages are not that far apart.
no, not at all.
Let's go to Wendy Pepper, who is now wearing a new shirt,
Yes,
still with greasy hair.
part of a black suit. So she's got like black suit pants, a black jacket with the white long sleeved blouse that she stole off that lovely young man.
And she looks like a professional gay lady when she comes out. So that's what she looks like. She's like, I'm a professional. Like 3 people applaud.
Yeah.
She comes out and people are like,
Also, I didn't understand who has reminded her or made sure that she mentioned that she's a mother from, what is it, Virginia?
yeah.
Who?
Was
The
it
mom, her
Kim?
daughter?
I don't know. I will tell you, as she was talking, I was trying to look and see who was in the front row. Because I did that the other day when I was watching a comedy show, and I was very much rewarded by seeing like some famous people. I was watching a Dave Chappelle
Okay.
show
Yeah,
on
yeah.
Netflix, and I look in the front row, and there is Giselle and Pastor Jamal from the Real Housewives of Potomac. Because
Ah,
the show was done in Atlanta, and so they must have gone down because his church is in Atlanta. And so now I try to look and see. So when I was looking while Wendy was talking, and they were sort of scanning down the front row, who's in the front row? Harvey Weinstein.
no,
He's one of the producers on the show. I didn't realize until the show ended.
no.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Oh, those poor young models.
yeah. That's the first thing I thought of. I will
Mm.
say I hated Wendy's music. I thought it was obnoxious.
Oh, her French.
That's okay.
No, she's playing all that French music while
Yeah.
she's writing her play. That this is what reminded me of.
What is that movie? That's the one with Keanu Reeves and Amanda Peet.
Amanda Peet's in it. Yes, she plays her daughter, and Jack Nicholson.
Yeah, and Keanu Reeves plays a doctor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Anything with Keanu Reeves is great. But yeah, this music from Wendy is for me, it typifies every reason why Wendy should not be there. Why this would have been more interesting with Austin Scarlett.
Yes. I agree with you. We'll get into her styles shortly, but she really is designing potentially for herself, which is a quote, sophisticated older woman,
Who
which
wears sheer blouse.
is really reflective in her looks. Because I don't know if you want to jump right into her first look,
Absolutely, go right ahead.
which I call suede dress jacket. It's
Yeah.
brown pants, like they might have been a bit of a wide length or straight leg brown pants, a cranberry dress on like a half slip dress on top of it, not a blouse. It was
So bad.
totally a dress. I felt terrible for the poor model because her right boob was falling out of the
Yes,
dress.
I was confused by that as she was walking down. I was like, is that the cup? Is it supposed to be like that?
I don't know.
Not
And
good.
then a green jacket that honestly looked like it was filled so full. Like I put on here, this is just poor sewing. It was a green, it might have been metallic-y type jacket, but with fur. It was shiny, but it just looked like it was filled and very poorly sewn. I was like, this is what you're opening with? And I gave it a 2. I thought it
Ooh,
looked
girl.
terribly made. I used to tell everybody that I will not shop at Old Navy because every time I went to Old Navy when it was new, I would buy something and I would bring it home. I would wear it once without washing it. Then the moment I washed it, and I'm not somebody who dries the clothes that I wear, I let them air dry, it would be falling apart. It would have totally lost its shape. It was just poorly made, and that's why
Yeah.
it just looked I thought it was looked terribly made. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. No one claps for the opening. Normally, that's where everybody is clapping and being like, woo woo, this is awesome.
Yep.
And I thought that the dress kept going into the model's crotch
Oh,
when
yeah.
she was walking. You could tell that no one had walked these. Nobody had practiced these looks, even if they had been well made, which they were not, had not been rehearsed together.
No.
Right? Nobody had really thought about it and watched what that looked like because just wasn't practical. Like I said, the dress literally kept like bunching up into the model's crotch. I gave it a 3.
Mm.
I just thought it was terrible. Look number 2, the only thing good about it was the trench, the red shiny trench. That I would have worn instantly. You know me. I would have 100% owned that. I gave it a 5 just because I liked the jacket. Otherwise, I remember nothing about the rest of the outfit.
Yeah, it had that. I wrote pleather red belted jacket, red skinny pants, textured half sleeve pattern blouse. I gave it a 4.
Mm,
Again, I was like, I'm not at all impressed as to what you're showing me yet.
no.
And then she came out with the green skirt suit, is what I called it. velvet greenish, like it had brown, like there
It's
were
like
two
iridescent,
colors.
wasn't it?
Yeah,
Like a
iridescent,
holographic, maybe?
two-piece and tailor
Yeah.
suit
Yeah.
thing with a green fur collar. It was knee length. And I said that it had bad settling of the cuts in the make.
Yeah.
I think this was when the model turned around to walk back. I was like, oh, there's like a pocket back there where the
Oh.
fabric has settled. And this is where I gave it a 6. And then in parentheses, I was like, 4 because I couldn't. Eh.
Yeah, that's so for me, I gave it a 4 too. What the fuck with the color was what I wrote. That the color was terrible. It just looked very dated. There was nothing interesting about it at all. And I was really getting sick of that sort of like gross chartreusey color making its way. And then we went into look 4,
Mhm.
which was the leather skirt and the scrunched top.
Yes, two-piece brown, black. Yeah, the leather
Yeah.
black skirt to the knee. And then I called it a brown gathered corset shirt.
Yeah.
Honestly, I was shocked to see this come from her. And I was like, I know people that would wear that. It looked really good on the model. And when the model turned around, it had a cohesive look to it. So I gave her an 8.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't like brown and black together at all. I didn't
Okay.
like the color combination. And I just felt like the whole thing again didn't feel fresh. It didn't feel like anything new. Not everything I feel like in these shows, I don't think every single look or every single part of every look has to feel new.
Right.
But something, Wendy, something like make it interesting, make and I wasn't invested in it at all. But I will say look 5, the suit.
The orange alligator suit.
I really liked it. 7.
Yeah.
I'd wear the shiz out of that. I thought that was really
The
nice.
slim fit, the big buttons, like there were two big
Hmm.
buttons and a deep neck. I gave that an 8.
Yeah, that was
Yeah, I
gorge.
thought that she had done a really good job with that.
I would 100% love to wear that. Yeah, and then look 6. I'm right back
Mm.
at weird strapless green dress. And I wrote at this point I'm bored and I wrote 4.
Oh, I gave this one a 2. I hated it. The sheer gathered skirt, the bodice pattern, the green gathered accent at the top, and the ruffled back with the curtain. I was just, it had it, the back, like the top along the shoulders, had a little, maybe 2 to 3 inches of a ruffle curtain for her shoulders. I thought it was terrible. I gave it a 2, hated it.
It's not good. It's not
No.
good. Although we do have, for me, a little bit of a resurgence next
Yes.
in look 7 with the hot pink satin dress, which
Oh,
I thought
yeah.
was fun and cute. And
Hmm.
so I gave that a 7.
Now, I liked the popped collar
Mm,
because my
different,
mom
right?
loves a popped collar, and I don't necessarily, but that was a nice big one. It had a deep neck, it had a gathered train with a panel, but the back was very sloppy when I looked at
It's
it.
not good.
That's the thing, because somebody once said, "We know you can sew," and I'm like, "Can she?"
But do we know that?
So I gave it a 7. I didn't hate it. I liked it. I thought it was
You're so
interesting.
generous.
I know.
This is what I love about you.
I tried to be nice.
So why don't you tell me what you have for look 8? I'm sure we have some. We're not that different actually.
Yep. So the long skirt with the tube top in pink and cranberry. So it was a long pink velvet skirt, like just a long tube skirt with a textured cranberry bodice, which I put a check next to it because I couldn't tell, I couldn't zoom in close enough to tell exactly what the texture was
Same.
for that like tube top bodice thing. What was interesting though, did it not harken back to Jay's top?
When Tim asked him to fix it?
Yeah,
Yes.
that
Yeah.
was amazing. Like the top that Jay made for what's her name from Access Hollywood or Nancy O'Dell. It almost was the exact same thing to me, but I was just shocked
Not the same thing.
that it was just a long skirt and
To
a tube
column
top.
skirt.
There was nothing to break anything up, so I couldn't say anything terrible about it. I didn't love it. I literally wrote, "That's all," and I gave it a 6.
Yeah, I think there was nothing interesting about it. Yeah, and I said mauve velvet skirt, strapless bustier. I gave it a 5 because again, I didn't think that there was I felt it had potential. I would have given it a less of a score, but I felt like there was potential. Had this skirt had an interesting cut, maybe had it been like a trumpet skirt Or had it been like a maxi skirt, or had it been something super dramatic with tulle and then this tight little bodice, that might have looked stunning, or at least would have been fresh, different, like whatever. I just felt like this was another one of those opportunities that like were squandered by Wendy, where she had like an interesting idea and either I think with Wendy, so hot take. I think with Saun, she takes it too far, and with Wendy, she takes it not far enough.
Oh yeah, she didn't even have any jewelry on this
No.
person. There was nothing.
Everything looked very, it reminded me of a fashion show that you might see at the local function room for a charity.
Absolutely, which they've
Right.
done on Real Housewives
Yeah.
before.
We've seen it in New Jersey.
Yeah.
And then to me, then we get to my least favorite
Dun,
look
dun,
of
dun,
hers.
dun, dun.
The sheer top, right?
The
There's no
sheer
reason.
top.
I just gave it a 3. There's no reason for it. It was just stupid.
It's interesting because if you take it from the bottom up, there's this skirt that is like a base pink color because you could see the inside fabric kicking
Yeah.
while the model walked of this like very vibrant pink color. And then on top of it is this like green embroidery type thing going on. She even has some sort of bow thing at her throat, but the top is just a sleeveless black blouse that is entirely sheer with buttons down the front. And it got a big reaction from the judges. They're looking at each other. Heidi immediately
Have you
is
seen
into
these?
Michael Kors and he's shaking his head. Then Nina Garcia's into Michael Kors, and you can see Michael Kors mouthing, I don't know. Heidi says something to him and he just mouths, I don't know. And yeah, that I honestly, if it was just the skirt, I thought the skirt looked really interesting. I wish I could see it closer. I would give the skirt a 6, but overall, I gave the look a 2.
Yeah. It was a questionable choice. It was really questionable. I don't know what we were supposed to get.
No.
As obnoxious as I thought that a lot of Carasan's designs were, I know what we were supposed to get.
Right.
I
This
get
came out
it.
of
I get it.
left
I
field.
get it. Like titties that fly.
Yep.
We get it. But this was just something that I was like, okay. And it isn't the sheer part. It's just even the design of it was just, it just felt like it was out of left field. So that's,
Totally.
yeah. And then look 10 was the look that had
Oof.
Melissa, her Project Runway
Oh,
model.
that poor model.
I will say the skirt looked like somebody had just sewn it together and it looked very cheap, the fabric of it,
Oh, yeah.
see-through. I thought the bustier was the prettiest thing that she showed. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
That's just my taste. I probably don't have good taste, but that is just my taste. So I loved the color palette, that fall color palette. I would have loved to have seen like a jacket, a suit made out of that fabric, I think would have stopped traffic. Because I loved the bustier so much, I gave it an 8 just for the bustier.
Okay. Yeah, I gave the whole look a 4. It had that green long metallic skirt, which at first I thought was a leg slit on the left-hand side. But then I was like, no, no, no. She
It's
has
not
a
there.
train cape on. And then no, 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 no. It's just, it was, remember Austin Scarlett's, the blue and purplish dress that he put
For Nancy
together for
O'Dell.
Nancy
Yeah,
O'Dell,
that ombre.
where it looked like he had just pinned a bunch of fabric together and it was like barely holding
Yes,
on. It
yes.
wasn't, that's what I thought of this because the skirt was short in the front and then it had these things. And then when she went and did her turn, she grabbed like just a panel, which was what it was. And then she like flipped it around. So it was a deconstructed skirt almost. The cranberry and gold belted bodice thing, it wasn't my jam, but I did think it was nicely put together, which is the only reason I said it was pretty from the back and I gave it a 4. And I was like, for your quintessential top model
I
look, this is what I thought the color, honestly, the color palette, I was like, this is not a show-stopping color palette. Like this
No.
is
Yeah.
dark and green, so much
Yeah, I
green.
get it. This is the kind of stuff that I love to look at every like August, right? I love to look at, since I was a kid, I would love 17 magazine. I would love the back to school issue
Hmm.
and being able to look and see like all the cranberry and green colored clothes. And that's not a real thing. That's just not what this was. This was a spring show. This
Yeah.
was March. This was March. And even though, again, even though Cara Sans was like tortured, she had tortured that fucking leather to death.
Oh, yeah.
Wendy's is just the color palette is the problem. But I did give the highest score to that last bustier. So Heather is calculating hers right now. My average was sadly not that far away from Carasan's. So remember, I gave Carasan a 5.4. I gave Wendy a 5.0.
Mine's a 4.9
Yeah,
for
we were
poor
pretty close.
Wendy.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Wendy. And of course, at the end, because it is a very big part of her identity, she picked up her daughter Finley
Yeah.
and carried her the rest of the way out. Michelle, is it Michelle was her model, the young one?
Melissa.
Melissa, thank you very much. You can tell they had formed a bit of a bond, a partnership or whatever, because she was
Yeah.
very attentive to Finley and to Wendy on the red carpet. But boy, was I happy when that show was over.
Yeah, it just wasn't interesting.
Hmm.
I have to say, so Kara's suffered from being the same, and neither of which I liked. It was a two-note performance, and I didn't particularly love either of the notes.
Hmm.
Wendy's, I didn't like any of her looks really, except for I think the one I would run away with was the suit, the orange suit.
Yes.
And I think that the pink dress was cute too.
Yes.
But that's pretty much it. And then I want the bustier and then I want to go. But those are three things out of 12 looks.
Yeah.
So yeah, then we move on to Jay.
Yeah, and Jay comes out looking like the original OG that he is. He's got red pants. He's got a pink, like, pullover snow hat. He's got a zip up, almost probably a hoodie underneath with a like suit jacket over it. And he doesn't say very much at all. Like, he's not going to try to sell it. So they just literally kick right into the show practically.
Yeah, I love his speech and his music because I think that when Karasan says anything now, I don't believe anything she says, by the way. Wendy, I've never believed anything she said, and it was always obnoxious. But Jay actually said that he's going to let his work speak for itself.
Right.
And then the music kicks in, and I like the music too. So I didn't
Mm.
like it as much as I loved Karasan's. I hated her clothes pretty much, but really liked her music. His I really liked. And we go right into look one, which I called a quilted wrap over and then skirt over pants. I wanted to love it so much. Okay, it's fresh, it's different, it's well made. I'm going to give it a 6.
You were so generous
That
because
was the
I was
nicest thing I could do.
mean as could be. I was shocked because I was like, boy, I guess I just wasn't paying attention before. But I called this look bed dress.
I know, you're right. It
Um,
really should be a 4.
it was,
I'm changing it right now
I'm
as
like,
we
there's
talk.
loosely fitting gray leggings
Yeah,
over a
bad,
metallic
bad.
fringy skirt
You're
with a orangish, I wrote a comforter jacket. I just didn't understand what was happening. I gave this look a 2.
just calling it a quilt, but it really wasn't a quilt. It was more of a cheap comforter from like Dollar Tree.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't good. I actually just changed my rating. I gave it a 4 because it really was pretty bad. It was pretty bad.
And I started to get really scared because I was like, oh, Jay, I love his look so much. It's always so unique and interesting. And then this came out, and I was like, this is his debut look. Oh, no.
I have to say, I thought everybody's choice for their opening look was terrible.
Yeah.
I would not have picked any of them. I'll
Hmm.
actually tell you in this one what I would have picked for my opening look, but spoiler alert, it was not look 2, which was the circle skirt
Yes.
and scarf, which I thought was okay. I thought the circles and the skirt were interesting. I gave it a 6.
I also gave it a 6. I thought the green circle pattern skirt was at least interesting. It had a long sleeve turtleneck with a knit scarf and a belt. And did you see those fabric colored covered boots?
Yes.
I thought those were the bee's knees. I'm not gonna lie. Like the fabric covered boots that almost look like somebody had just draped and glued a bunch of fabric onto any type of knee-high-ish boots. I just thought it was very interesting looking, considering the pattern skirt and the turtleneck seemed almost like office business casual. So I thought the boots gave it a little bit of a hipper thing to it. I did notice though that there was a backslit, which I don't know if I liked or hated. But yeah, I gave this a 6. I was like, phew, at least this is not another 2.
Yeah, again, these are weird choices for opening
Mm,
looks.
hmm
I just don't think they're what we were hoping for opening looks. So next, it's the green jacket and
Yes.
pants with buttons. I gave it a 7. I thought it was cute.
I
Not,
also gave it a 7.
ooh,
We're very aligned here.
yeah, it was not something I would rush out and wear, but if you gave it to me, I would wear it.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting because I couldn't figure out how many layers were going on in this outfit because I saw the green long cargo pants, which I really enjoyed. The lime green blouse was peeking out, so like at the collar and at the bottom. And then there was I thought that sweater, like a textured sweater top with two different colors in it. I thought that was really interesting. But then on top of that was that green jacket with I think it was supposed to be buttons on the green jacket and a fringe shoulder. He could have maybe ceased and desisted after 2 layers. I didn't know if he needed to go 3 layers, but I enjoyed it. Again, not my color palette.
Yeah, same.
So the 7, I thought I was warming up.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, phew,
You're like, we're getting there.
it's
We're
not all
getting
going to
there,
be
man.
terrible,
Yeah.
which leads into I think the first of his quilted items, which is the crocheted, beautiful, like crocheted powder blue. It's not a sweater. It was like a cape with
It's a
no
poncho.
poncho. Thank you so much. That's the word. Like very big crochet. I don't know how you would call
So
it. The
it was
big holes.
actually, yeah, so it was, those are actually double crochets. And
Okay.
so they, when you make them together, they group together and look like a fan.
Okay.
And so it's a very open weave crochet.
It was
It's
lovely.
so pretty.
And like a lime green blouse seemed to be peeking out
Yep.
somewhere. Oh no, sorry, no, no, no. Not there. Sorry. So the crocheted item with the quilted blue skirt. So all the
Oh, the
different,
piece. It looks like a log cabin.
yeah. And knee socks, which I really liked the knee socks. At first, I thought that there might be like a long sleeve sweater or top under, but you couldn't see what was on underneath the poncho. But I thought it looked really cohesive, and it was definitely an interesting blend of textures. So I gave that a 7.
God, we are so aligned, my friend. Yes. I also gave it a 7. I really liked the quilted aspect of it. I believe that is called a log cabin, that piecing style. I think that's called log cabin style. We'll have to check in with Megan and see. But I felt like that was different, unusual, something that you don't normally see. I am, I hold myself back from giving him really superlative scores because of the layering. I don't know how much I like that.
Yeah, it's interesting that you say that because I couldn't even see what he had on under the cape. And this does harken back though to what Tim Gunn, oh no, maybe it might have been Michael Kors saying, I really love, no, it might have been Tim Gunn saying, I love your exploration with different textures and
Yes.
fabrics. And he may have said that to Wendy too, but Jay has been getting a lot of credit for that because he's done a lot of shredding of fabric to make different looks. And actually, that was the feedback that he got for the
Nancy O'Dell?
Nancy O'Dell one was the skirt was so interestingly textured and him playing around with fabrics is what they complimented there. I thought it was a solid outfit, but I couldn't quite see exactly what was going on with it, so I didn't go above and beyond.
Yeah.
Now, the next look, however,
Yeah.
I titled Blue Labia.
Oh, wow. I didn't even think of that, but I thought there was a pool noodle in there.
It was amazing. So it
Yes.
had leggings, a blue leather mini skirt, a big blue sweater with a very big, just
Exaggerated.
Victorian neckline going up behind her head.
Yeah.
And it just reminded me of Mia there and ginormous blue accent necklace that
Yes.
kind of took all that open space that the big sweater and then a ribbon belt. And I liked it. Like when it turned the corner, I was like, oh, that's really interesting. Look at that necklace. Look at that big red, big blue neckline. And then I was like, Oh, that's really big. And so I couldn't go over a seven because I couldn't see somebody realistically wearing that big of a sweater out, but that was just me.
Well, you know, it's so funny. We are again aligned. I also gave it a 7. I really loved it. I love that color, that royal blue.
Oh,
That's a
that's great.
really good color for me. I actually used to have a leather jacket that was that color. I really like that color. So I would wear that crazy
That
blue.
pool noodle.
Yeah, I really liked the dramatic nature of it.
Oh, yes, it was very dramatic.
I have a lot of I have a lot of pieces like that, especially outerwear. You've seen like I have a lot of like wild colored like faux fur coats. I like a really dramatic piece of outerwear. So I can imagine I would love that if it was a
Okay.
knitted like long coat. I think it would have been more proportional, and I think then it would have been great. Then I think it becomes wearable to a million other people
Hmm.
because it is a statement collar.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that the necklace balanced it perfectly. I really liked it a lot. I did not like anything from the waist down
No, I was,
on that. It was all that's the 7 was mostly for the necklace and the actual sweater because I thought to myself, oh, right, he designed this sweater and had it knitted. I had to
yes,
remind myself of it, right?
yes.
So that actually brought me to the look that I think he should have opened with,
The prep student.
which I thought was the best, which was with the blue with the diamonds on the sweater. It almost looked Argyle with the jeans, looked incredibly wearable.
Yes,
I gave it an 8.
I gave it a seven, and the only reason that I gave it a seven, I love the blue patterned sweater because it was like very preppy.
Loved.
They had a blue blouse underneath
Yeah.
it, the jeans with the long cuff. I
Tough.
loved
Oh,
them.
yes.
And then for some reason, he put a skirt on top of the jeans.
You can't. Yeah, I
And
know.
it was like you're covering up the best part of the outfit. Like the sweater and the shirt with the jeans may not have been high fashion, but it was such a perfectly
It's a great
complete
look.
look.
Yeah.
And that skirt didn't add to it. It took away from the outfit. And he might have gotten a nine for me if he had just
Taking that
done
away.
that,
Wow.
but the skirt just it detracted for me entirely. Like I put a question mark next to why is it? And I was, I think, yelling at my screen. Why did he put a skirt on there? What's the point? Because when we saw the outfit originally, those jeans, and it was something that Tim Gunn had commented on. And then eventually he was like, no, I think they're perfect. There was no skirt involved before.
Yeah, originally I thought it was the tails of the shirt that were out.
No, I feel like
And
I
it's no,
paused it.
no, I know you're right. But that's what I thought originally. I was like, oh, that's the tails of the skirt, of the shirt. And then when I looked closely, I was like, oh no.
Oh no.
And that's again, I think that's the failure of this line, this collection from Jay, is that I think the layering is just one step too much.
Yeah.
I think it's cool, but it's one step too much. With that being said, that's one of my highest scores, right? The 8. How about you for look 7?
Oh, silver casual is what I named this. It had
Huh.
silver leggings that
Okay.
he's really enjoying the leggings aspect. He's well above his ahead of his time because leggings don't become cool for another 10 or so years. It had a ruffled texture skirt, which seemed to be like that combination of shredded fabric pieces to make almost like a tutu.
I was going to say, I couldn't tell if it was shredded or if it was so ruffled, so
And
dense.
it maybe, I'm not
But you're right.
sure.
I think it was probably, I just got new glasses the other day. So,
Believe me, I was in front of my screen with my nose pressed up against it, pause, 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 and I couldn't make out a lot of it. And then a silver tank top with a gray hoodie, which you may wonder why I gave it an eight, but it was just, it wasn't overdone
no,
like
I
a lot
agree.
of his other looks had been. It had a very cohesive look. It was fun and flirty with that, like the almost two-ish type skirt, but then the fact that he went ahead and made a hoodie, I was just like, this is casual. This is somebody just chilling, walking down the street in the city or wherever else. I could see somebody wearing that. And so I thought it was a very successful look for me. So I gave it an eight.
Nice. Yeah, and I see, I thought this suffered from the opposite problem, which was for me, this wasn't enough.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I could see that.
And so I was like, would I wear that hoodie? Yes. I'd wear that today. And I was like, I don't know that I'd want to wear that with leggings though, because that feels almost basic.
Hmm.
I would almost want to wear that with a pair of jeans similar to the look previous,
Yes.
but maybe a different wash. Or
Hmm.
maybe like super wide leg
Yeah.
jeans, or maybe super skinny I don't know, but I feel like I would want more texture or something to balance out the, which I thought was cute.
Hmm.
So I gave it a 6,
Oh,
which brings us into one of the looks that I thought was overcomplicated. I think he overcomplicated the look.
yeah.
I don't have a problem with the color. I think this color is great. I think it could have been a great windbreaker top, which was basically what he was making. I just felt that this was like a rain coat slash straight jacket.
Oh, yes. Can't agree more. I called this look Purple Mess. It had the purple patch leggings, which I thought were very interesting. So it was like big patches of different colors going up
Yeah,
the
I
leggings.
actually liked those.
And at first I thought she had a skirt on, but she didn't. It
Mm,
was just the raincoat that came down, and I called it a lavender deconstructed raincoat puffer. Like I did not understand what
yeah,
was happening with that jacket. And I, to your point of it almost being a straight jacket, how does she get that on? How do you know which way that belt thing is supposed to
there were so
go
many belt buckles.
over? I didn't think that it necessarily belonged. I also didn't think that it showed any great design to it. If I can't figure out what your concept is about, if it just looks like you're somebody poked a hole in your balloon raincoat and then now it's all for those of you who are looking for a audible cue, like it just wasn't, I thought it was just a mess.
Yeah, yeah. God
And
bless,
I gave it a 5.
Yeah, I gave it a 7, but only because I really liked the leggings. I
The
thought they were
leggings were
cute.
lovely.
Thought they were really cute. Look 9, I think is, spoiler alert, amazing. I loved the red knit dress and the pieced coat. I would wear both of those. I want the coat immediately. Immediately, I want the coat. So I gave it a 9.
I gave this outfit a 9 as well. The almost glittery cranberry form fit dress with the belt around it and the thigh length tights. I thought it was just fantastic. And I don't know about you, like when the model turned around, you could see all the quilting on the back of that jacket, which I feel like was leather and fabric. It honestly reminded me of Blade, the movie Blade with Wesley Snipes,
Oh
all
my
the
God.
coats that he wears.
You're so
I
good.
was
That's a
thinking to
really good
myself,
reference.
like, has he been watching Blade? No.
Really good
So I
reference.
loved that one, honestly. The whole look, I thought that dress should be in a movie with like a club scene or something with the romantic
It's
lady
like Blade
lead.
Runnery.
Oh, so pretty. So yeah, that one definitely for me was the highlight, as well as the next one. I gave the next one a 9 as well. I called it feather dress.
Yeah.
The cranberry at the bottom to hot pink at the top,
Yes.
shredded texture. It was sleeveless with a belt and then like almost a feather stole along the
Yes.
shoulders and the back. And it had a train even. I just thought that it was such a beautiful mix of colors, but it was, I don't know, it was like a statement piece, like something I would expect to see in a museum.
Yeah, yeah. If you had said to me that that was from the Titanic,
Oh,
I
yeah,
feel like when I looked at these last two looks from Jay, they were my two favorites of the entire show from him. And
absolutely.
I think that you can only imagine the amount of work that must have gone into, I mean, that shredded dress.
That's it. And the top is funny because the shreddedness of the dress, at first I was like, is that all feathers? And then it was just feathers in the fuchsia at the top.
Yeah.
But and it was it Julia was his model.
Yes,
She
yes,
looked
yes.
phenomenal in it. It
Mm.
was like such a beautiful look on her with her super pale skin. I thought it was lovely. It was really what I was hoping the end of the shows would look like. That, oh my gosh, piece, which I didn't really get out of Karasan or Wendy. Actually, for Karasan, her last dress, I gave a 4. And for Wendy, her last dress, I gave a 4. So to end on 2 9s in a row, I was like, this is what it's all about.
Let me see. Oh no. So Wendy's I gave an 8 because I love that bustier. But Carasan's I gave a 7. I
Okay.
gave higher scores because they were I really hated everything else they had.
But yeah, I loved his collection. At first, I was like, oh no, Jay has let us all down. But I really enjoyed it. So my final number for Jay is a 6.7. Again, these aren't high scores.
Wow, and I gave him a 7.6.
Oh, yeah. So let's recap. For Karasan, I gave a 6.3.
And I gave a 5.4,
Okay. For Wendy, I had a 4.9.
5.0,
And for Jay, 6.7, and you had
7.6.
7.6. So Jay, for
Jay's,
us,
yeah, Jay's the clear winner for
clear
us.
winner, ding, ding, ding.
The other two don't even
No,
pass, technically. Even Jade almost doesn't do that well with you.
no, he didn't do that well. I wish somebody would have gotten into the at least the C range for
I'm
a
just gonna say, I'm
score.
like, I feel good that I was able to give a C. But I will say the reactions from the crowd are a little bit mixed, right? So we see Carson Kressley, who I think
Yes.
you thought Austin was. Wasn't that what you said earlier?
Yes, I thought that Austin had gone on to host Queer Eye for the Straight Guy,
Yes, I
but
love that. I
because I've
love that.
never watched that show really. So Carson, yep, he says that he really liked Jay's looks.
Yep.
And then we have somebody named Tamara.
She's the founder of Jimmy Choo,
Thank you. Yes, Jimmy Choo. And she says straight up Karasan.
which is so weird. I'm so surprised.
Yeah. I think that folks who go to fashion shows often will probably have a totally different way of
True,
reading
true.
fashion shows. So Carson, I feel like is just some guy. I don't know what his history is,
The
but
fashion dude.
oh, he is the fashion dude. Okay, so maybe he knows more. And then I don't know who Yvonne was.
Yeah, I don't either. I've never heard of her. It says she was an actress and a model. I've never heard of her.
Okay, so she voted for Karasan as well. So I think feel like folks who are like in this a lot thought that Karasan's was like the most high fashion, which would make sense because it looked very well put together. The fabrics, the looks were all like red carpet glamour
Yeah.
meets the aviator. And then they interviewed the folks.
The former contestants, yeah.
Only 3 of them were there.
Yeah, which I thought was interesting.
And there was 1 vote for Jay and
Yep.
2 votes for Karasan. So
Yes,
if you're watching at home, Karasan is coming out ahead based on
absolutely.
public opinion.
Yep.
And then the judges just get to judging. They end it.
Yeah, yeah. Jay says he feels great after the show. It's exactly what it needed to be. Wendy says this is the most important milestone of her career, other of her life, other than her daughter, of course, and that she's
Hmm.
proud of herself. And that's when the judges confer, right? They say they enjoyed the show, then they bring out the designers.
Yes. And Heidi has changed her outfit now. And this is
Yes,
the only wardrobe change, I think, or
this is it.
I couldn't figure out honestly if there was a period of time because they kept saying tonight, but I
I
noticed that
think it
Heidi
was the
had
same
changed
day,
her outfit.
but her hair still has that pale purple in it that it had to
Okay.
choose up. So I think that it's the same day.
And I couldn't tell if Parker Posey was in the same clothes.
She is.
Okay.
She is.
The
Yeah.
one thing that I did notice though is that when they bring out the contestants, Wendy has her long shot
The
t-shirt back,
back. Yes.
which means that poor guy didn't end up having his blouse stolen forever.
Thank
Like
God. I'm worried about that.
she gave it back and I was very proud of her.
I worried about that as well. I'm
But
worried about that too.
yeah, Heidi has changed into, I couldn't tell if it was a dress because I feel like we only saw her
It was
sitting.
like a sweater dress or something. It looked
But
like beautiful though.
yes, did you happen to see what Nina Garcia was wearing? I caught a glimpse of it when they were at the runway and it was the same thing. But yeah,
Jewels, it was like a pale blush color with like big jewels around the neck.
yes, and I actually thought that it was like a tan color
Yeah,
and
but
it
it's like
had
blush, isn't
the
it?
like the sewn on jewel
Yeah, that's very,
and then it went down like almost like a
yeah.
giant necklace that she was wearing. And I was like, now these will become very passe by 20.
Oh yeah, like
2010.
now it's so dated,
Like
no one would ever
it's
wear
a
that.
it's a grandma shirt, but apparently, and this is the fun of going back and
Oh yeah.
watching these first seasons of things because I was like, oh, isn't that so cute? They think that this is high fashion.
Oh yeah, that was at the time to be wearing those things with the huge stones on it. That was a big deal. I was watching an episode recently of Kimora Simmons' Life in the Fab Lane
Yeah.
that happened around the same time. And it's the same thing. She's showing up with skinny jeans with a flared out bottom, like a boot cut, and a tank top that's gathered right at the neckline. And then literally every neckline a different pattern of stones, whether it's like turquoisey with like gold stones, or like one was like white stones that were cracked with black that had other black stones. It was such a style thing, but it's amazing that someone like Nina Garcia is
She's
wearing.
wearing
She
it.
looks like, yeah,
I
she looks
loved it.
dated. She looks so dated. Yeah, they bring out the models, and we were reminded about the model prize.
Yes, which is a good prize.
It is, you get the spread in L. So then Nina asks about the fabric.
Yes.
And this is when we hear from Jay that like things were like hand quilted and crocheted and that he dyed the gloves.
Hmm.
Michael Kors says he didn't like that. He thought it was a little too matchy matchy.
Matchy matchy made him lose the work.
Yep. And then Nina said it was overly complicated,
Yes.
which we agreed with. For
Hmm.
once, we're in the right. And then Wendy asking about the inspo, and she said the forest and fall, which totally makes sense given what we've seen.
Yeah.
And MK wanted to know were these clothes about you as a woman? Hated the fucking sheer top.
Yes.
Otherwise, I think he didn't have a huge problem with it.
He did say he was like the see-through top, those boobies. I don't think that's you.
Yeah.
And then somebody said, "Listen, you're a good tailor."
Mm.
There was not one, not category. I forget the words they used, but there was no
Cohesiveness.
cohesiveness,
Yes.
like
Yes.
which is something they bring up again later.
Yes, absolutely. And that's when Michael Kors says to Karasan, "Okay, like, how meaningful was the fucking aviator to you?" Which cracks
Well,
me up. It's what you want to be like. So, like, afterwards, did you get like the Leonardo DiCaprio tattoo or what the fuck? It's so weird to me. Parker says that she thinks that it was thoughtful and provocative and that she understands a woman's body. That's what Michael Kors says, which is true, I think, that she does understand a woman's body for the most part. She had a couple of misses where the clothes just were ill-fitting on the
yes.
model. But then Michael Kors is, that's when we hear again about Gucci.
Yes. Right before that, Parker Posey had said a lot of your things I could see someone wearing to the Oscars. It was very, very not overdone, but just
Costuming.
fancy.
Yeah, costuming in a sense, right?
Yeah.
I'll put it this way, like a character dress,
Hmm.
right? Something that you put on. Yeah, not your average day, everyday clothing. Okay.
No. And so the Gucci comment is made, and Michael Kors and Nina Garcia both say that they were disappointed. And they point right at the white,
And that quilting bit.
the silver belt over that panel, quilted panel in the front. And they're like, that's Gucci. And she's like, well, these are things that
I've
I've
been
been
doing.
doing for years.
Yeah. So Gucci stole from her basically.
I guess because she's already gotten that feedback before, like on
And she said the
an
same
item,
thing.
and they told her that looks like Gucci, and she was very shocked by it. So you wouldn't think, much like Wendy is just absorbing all the advice she can get and the feedback from the judges, you would think that Karasan may have taken that bit of feedback in. And then, of course, Michael Kors brings up the fact that she lost, what's that phrase? I'm terrible with phrases or idioms or whatever, but like she lost the room or
He
whatever.
lost the plot.
Oh, yes, when the model couldn't
Tripped.
move in her dress. And as soon as she slipped coming around that corner, he's like, you lost
And
that
he
whole
said,
dress.
you had one of the best walking models in the industry and you put her in a dress where she was tripping.
Yes. Oh, she was it's in her
And
designer shoes.
I was just going to say, I'm like, and again, it comes back to these fecking shoes. It keeps coming back to these shoes.
Yeah.
Now Nina is saying it's between Jay and Karasan,
Yes,
and
because they send them out,
yeah,
right?
they send them back in, and then they go and they're laying on they're, while this is happening, they're all laying on the red couches,
Very silent,
very
not saying
silent.
anything.
And the truth is that it was always between Jay and Karasan, right? And
Absolutely.
I love that Michael is like, Wendy is what a lot of we need more of in the fashion industry, which is tenacious.
Yes. And he also says that she's very focused on listening to
Fabric
others and listening to the
feedback. Yeah.
feedback, and that she kind of lost the plot with what her own design is
I mean,
because,
it makes sense. I think she's trying to be everything to all people.
and he had said in the earlier before they started talking about her, he was like, we want a designer that we want to see more from. So they start talking about Jay, that he was fun and colorful,
Hmm.
that he was artistic and original. And Michael Kors, I think, is the one that says, here's this guy in like middle of
Yes.
nowhere, Pennsylvania, and he's designing not from things that he's seen, but from his gut.
Yeah.
And
That's the thing. Again, Karasan has been exposed to all of these things. She, of course, knows what Gucci is and what's been in Gucci's 2002 spring and fall collection. Jay doesn't fucking know. He's in the porn industry.
yeah, he's just designing based on how he feels and what he likes. And
Yeah.
so that was their feedback for Jay. Karasan, they say her clothes are perfect. They always look perfect. That her clothes are, her designs are also complicated and professional. And Parker Posey and others agree, say that she would be a great fashion designer one-on-one
Yes.
with folks, that she has that professional way of talking to folks and she understands how everything works. Literally, that was it for the feedback that I wrote down. So for Wendy, notice all that we just spoke about Jay and
Yeah.
Karasan.
Yeah.
Wendy's feedback was that she's too interested in listening to what other the
Yeah.
feedback is. She has no vision of
Well, I
her.
think if you don't, that's an immediately you're disqualified from this, right?
Yep.
What would be the point of moving forward, even if you were the bestest tailor ever to tailor in Taylortown? It doesn't, you know what I mean? It doesn't matter because she doesn't have a voice. And for them, and spoiler alert, Heidi will say it later, but they're really allegedly looking for the next great American designer, right?
Hmm.
So they bring them back to the runway and we begin that little dance of one of you is about to be named the winner of Project Runway.
And the rest of you will
The
be out.
out, right? Just can't. And so that's when they say to Wendy that you should be proud of yourself for coming this far, but her work lacks consistency, and so you are out.
Yep. Her clothes have commercial appeal.
Yeah,
Wendy leaves and says her little daughter, was it
that was cute, Finley.
Finley,
Finley,
is
that was, I
like,
know what you're gonna say. Yeah, yeah.
so are you still in?
Oh, I wanted to be like, no, she's out.
She's
She's
out.
out. She is fucking out.
But the best part is that she's like, well, I'm still in with you, aren't I? Like, such a good
Yeah,
mom. Like, can't,
yeah.
just like when Jay was like, oh, I got to spend time with Wendy
Yeah.
and her family, and she's a good whatever.
But maybe Wendy isn't like the Antichrist, of course, right?
And hopefully, thanks to, hopefully she'll get a couple thou off of doing this show. And she says she's going to go back and she's going to open up her own shop, which we will find out shortly if that
Well, I
happens.
mean, you tell me, Heather, like, I feel like this is the ideal outcome for Wendy,
Right.
right? I mean,
Folks who want poorly made clothes.
no, no, she's been already making these clothes forever. You know
Yes,
what I mean?
that's
Like,
absolutely true.
so for her, this is like a situation where I feel like this would be the ideal. This is the thing that is going to get her from, think of it this way, basement
Hmm.
to having her own shop, which is in reality what she would want. She is a mom from Virginia.
Yeah.
She isn't gonna all of a fucking sudden
Move to New
move to
York.
New York City. Like, none of this is a real thing that's gonna happen. However, the idea that she might have her own shop in her own town in Virginia, to me feels like best fucking case scenario.
Absolutely. Now, then they go back and forth. They play cat and mouse with Jay and Karasan. They tell Jay that he is artistic, he is out there, he is he. They say, you are you. You're artistic, you're out, your designs are out there and you're very you. Oh, okay, that was feedback. That's all. That's all you have to say, but okay. And then they go to Karasan, who they call her designs amazing, flawless,
Yeah.
and beautiful.
Sounds like Carasan's gonna win, doesn't it?
Ding, ding, ding. And then they skip the you are out
Yeah.
and they go straight to announcing the winner, who is Couldn't have happened
To a
to a
nicer
better
guy.
television show that you
Yeah.
have somebody who you don't actively hate. I was thrilled for him, and he
It
seems
could have been Wendy for real, right?
in pure disbelief the entire time. So they show Karasan going back and getting hugs because they have now brought in everybody's families and friends. So obviously Wendy spent some time with her family back there. Karasan's parents and everybody are back there as well. And she's saying about how she's disappointed, but it's not the end of the road. And she's so happy that her family got to be there to see one of her collections and stuff. And then they cut to Jay, who is still questioning whether they're serious and if he's really the winner.
Don't you love that?
I do. It's so sweet.
Austin would have been like, I knew it all along. I've known it since I was a child.
The best.
But I think that Jay is, that's the great part about him, is that he is genuine and has that childlike enthusiasm for all these things. Do you think?
Absolutely.
Like,
And he didn't, as much as he wanted to win, just I'm sure everybody else wanted to win, he really thought that it might be a long shot. I'm not sure, but I just love it because now, as his sister says, you can get lipo and you can move the hell out of our town. So his family comes out and he gives a hug to
So
each single one of them. And I clipped it off when they were just, Heidi was doing the background of they were so happy, blah, blah, blah.
yeah.
And so Jay's the winner.
Yeah, I loved the idea that they were like, you're going to be amazing. Michael Kors is telling him to seize the moment.
Yes, I loved that too. That was so sweet.
And I loved hearing that this has really helped his confidence and that he feels like he can actually step into his talent and be more confident. I think it's fantastic. I think that even just watching this 20 years later, you can't help but be caught up in like the excitement. He's young, he thinks he's going to take over the world.
Yes.
I can't wait to find out what happened to all three of them. Are you
Yes,
ready?
I am
So
ready.
if you don't mind taking a look for Karasan,
I'm gonna look for
I will
Karasan right
read
now.
us all about Wendy Pepper.
Oh my gosh.
So her real name was Anne Eustace Pepper Stewart,
Stop it.
known as Wendy Pepper. So she was born August 23rd, 1964. So she was 6 years older than me. So she was a fashion designer who appeared on the first season of the reality television show Project Runway. She was also a contestant on the second season of Project Runway All Stars. So she came back again. She was born in Dayton, Ohio, and of course, she lived in the town of Middleburg, Virginia. She studied in Nepal and began sewing carpets with Nepalese women. Post Project Runway, she opened her own store and continued to work with individual clients. Yay! Soon after the show ended, Wendy and her second husband separated. She told the New York Post that her experience on television had changed her, and it was difficult for my husband to come along for that step. Pepper continued to garner media attention. She appeared on the front page of the Georgetowner magazine in Washington, D.C., in the New York Post, the Washington Post, Ladowne magazine, Middleburg Eccentric, and Factio. She took part in two other Bravo television shows, Celebrity Poker Showdown and Battle of the Network Reality Stars. She also took part in the interview process for contestants for season 2 of Project Runway.
Huh.
She had a brief cameo appearance in Bravo's Project J, an hour-long documentary on the winner of the first season of Project Runway.
Oh.
She showed her debut line outside of Project Runway on April 11th, 2006 in Washington, D.C., and her ready-to-wear line was shown at the 2007 Cleveland Fashion Week in Cleveland, Ohio.
Interesting.
Pepper died on November 12th, 2017, age 53, in Washington, D.C. The cause of death was complications of pneumonia after battling cancer for several months.
Oh, Wendy.
Yeah. R.I.P. Wendy. All right. So what happened to Karasan?
So Karasan doesn't have a very large Wikipedia entry, which, by the way, when you can contribute to Wikipedia, they give us all this great information. So apparently, just in her very quick summary, she is the CEO of Karasan LLC, an LA-based fashion and costume design house. She appeared on season 1 and season 20, an all-star season of Project Runway. Before she was on Project Runway, she had been considering giving up a career of fashion in Los Angeles and was wondering if she should stay or not. And then she got a show call from the producers the same day. She was thinking out loud and she was on the show. And she was wondering if that show was going to have anything to do with reality show stunts such as eating worms. She must have been watching a lot of Fear Factor. So she has designed for Queen Latifah, Zendaya, Zoe Saldana, Snoop Dogg, Eve, Heidi Klum, Kevin Hart, Juliana
Huff?
Huff, TLC, Mary J. Blige, Jamie Foxx, Busta Rhymes, Lauryn Hill, Eddie Murphy, and Jabberwockies. She was the costume designer on the Disney Channel's Descendants franchise, which was
Surprised me at all.
no, not in the least, which by the way is one of
Fantastic.
my niece's favorite franchises.
Shout out to my friend Dee Dee that I watched it with. Wow.
And she was also the costume designer on MTV's America's Best Dance Crew seasons 1 through 5 and NBC's The Sing Off seasons 1 through 3. She has a teen-oriented project, The Fashion Fairy Godmother, which gives unhoused and foster children and teens makeovers.
Oh my God, that's
So
quite a.
she's obviously managing her brand pretty well, but so she has her own company, Carazon LLC, and she must still be in LA because that's where it's based.
Amazing.
Yeah.
All right, are you ready to hear about Jay McCarroll, our winner?
Oh my gosh.
Did
Tell
he
me
seize
she's
the
not
day?
dead.
Did he seize the day? Excuse me. So let's see what we've got here. So he was awarded $100,000, the mentorship from Banana Republic,
Mhm.
and a prestigious 2005 New York Fashion Week spot. However, Jay turned down the money and the mentorship, citing a contractual clause stipulating that Project Runway would own a 10% stake in all professional ventures in perpetuity.
Wow.
The company has since dropped this clause. In April 2008, McCarroll launched his blog and designer fashion boutique, The Colony by Jay McCarroll. After leaving New York, he now teaches at Philadelphia University and has a fashion line on QVC. I don't think he has one anymore. He was a designer for Field of View Winter Garden in Westchester, Pennsylvania. He's appeared many times on PBS TV's shows Quilting Arts. On April 5th, 2010, he won the seventh season of Celebrity Fit Club on VH1, having lost 40 pounds over the course of his time on the program. And in February 2020, McCarroll was employed in the wardrobe department of the television series Mayor of Easttown, coordinating clothes for background extras.
Oh no.
Yeah,
He's not the next great American fashion designer.
no, I don't think it worked out for him the way that he wanted it to. It's too bad though, because he did a great job in this show and showed a ton of promise. Wherever he is, we send him love. He entertained us and made some beautiful clothes, and I'm sure he's still making them, even if we have to watch Mayor of Easttown and be depressed to see them.
For the background extras.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
Jay.
Love you, Jay.
I really am, I'm not disappointed because obviously there's some contract stuff going on there that, like we were talking, if you go on one of these shows and they're paying for all this stuff
Yep,
and all the productions and things like that, they want to recoup something.
yep.
Maybe it was just stuff that he didn't want to do, but I'm happy to hear that he's teaching.
That was a long time ago.
Oh,
I think that was quite a while ago.
oh, Jay, I hope you have a store. I'm going to look you up and see if you
Yeah,
have a store and I'm going to go there and I'm going to
yeah.
buy something from you.
We love Jay. We love Jay. Before we end this season, do we want to share a little bit about what's coming up?
Of course.
Do you want to tell our friends what we're going to be doing? Season 3 is going to be a completely different type of show from Project Runway.
It totally is. Continuing along the vein that Maria has begun, and I have been able to jump on to the bandwagon, season ones of reality shows based on Bravo. We're going to head to a little bit of a warmer climate. We're going to go back to big personalities with complicated social and personal relationships. And we are going to start with, I'm trying to look up really quickly the year that show started. We're going to the year ba, ba, da, ba, 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 2014.
Mm.
And we are going to Charleston, South Carolina. Is that where Charleston is? People don't make fun of me. I missed geography in
I do believe it
elementary
is South
school.
Carolina.
And we are going to watch the first season of Southern Charm,
Woo!
which contains an amazing cast of Thomas Ravenel,
Yep.
Cameron Eubanks, Whitney Sudler Smith. Who else? I'm trying to think. Catherine Dennis, Shep Rose, Craig Conover. Just a bunch of, in some cases, young, beautiful people living their best lives in slightly wealthy comfort and just the shenanigans they're going to get into with the backdrop of a beautiful southern city
Absolutely.
that I've personally never been to, but we may include a road trip to go check it out.
Yeah, I've never been either, and I'm hopeful I can talk Heather into a road trip to maybe record the last couple of episodes. That would be super fun.
That
I
would be
think I
fun.
think that we're gonna have a great time with Southern Charm. They are super privileged, super entitled, just juvenile and drunk 80% of the time. And so I'm really looking forward to it. It's going to be debauched.
Yes.
There's going to be tons of laughs. There're going to be tons of cringe moments. It brings everything this podcast was founded on,
Absolutely. We are
right?
going to cringe like we've never cringed before. And what's interesting to me is that when Maria brought the show up, I was like, oh, yeah, the Real Housewives started getting very popular and they started expanding to all these other cities and just bringing in, I forget the first Real Housewives of, was it Dallas or Atlanta, where there was just people fighting a lot more and
Oh,
just like
yeah.
almost rap battles going on. And then the Lisa Vanderpump spun off Vanderpump Rules, which was just a bunch of barely 20 somethings working in a restaurant and then just getting their personal relations and everything else intertwined in the most ridiculous and dramatic ways. And then Southern Charm popped up, and it was like, okay, so these aren't real housewives and they don't all work for the same place. They're just people that all live in the same city, but they all know each other and they get up to the same type of shenanigans. And I can't wait to revisit that. I haven't seen it since I think it came out in 2014. So it's been 11 years since it's been out. So we can go back in time to when we were younger,
Oh, yeah,
had more energy, and just
totally.
live vicariously through these youngins.
I think it'll be really fun. Southern Charm in and of itself is, I like to think of it as like a liquor-soaked housewife show.
Oh, yes.
There's just so much booze. You might have to have the occasional cocktail.
Oh, yeah. But we have to go like full, like bourbon.
Yeah, it's going to be awesome. Heather, thanks again for joining me for this season. This has been so fun.
Thanks for inviting me. This was a great time for somebody who is not a fashionista and has never watched Project Runway. I have to say, it was so interesting. I can see why this became a smash hit. I hope you all enjoyed it as well. It was so great.
I loved it as well, and I really appreciate all of you joining us. If you enjoy the show, please rate and review the show. So we'll see you all soon.
Thank you all.
Bye, everybody.